Yo, what is up, guys? MattWic here. We are back in NHL 25 with our Quebec Draft Kings, ready to start another season after that disappointing loss in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Vancouver Canucks last year. If you remember, we were up 3-1, looking for our first Stanley Cup, and it just was not meant to be. Hope everybody as well had a happy holidays and a happy new year as well to you all. Let's get this 2025 started off with a banger of a season here in this first one. Now, going to change these videos just a little bit. They're going to be a little bit shorter going forward, especially during the regular season, because we are a pretty stacked team. I can't remember the last time we've missed the playoffs at this point, so the regular season is something of a formality. If we do miss it, then that will be disappointing, and I jinxed myself. So remember this at the end of the video, but we'll probably just go up to the trade deadline. I'll show you guys where we're at, what the roster looks like, and then get to the end of the season, do a quick recap, and then we will get to the playoff video after that. So let's take a look at the line so I don't drag on here too long. Pretty much the same as it was last year. I mean, our top six is going to be the same for probably a long time, especially Ricky Combs, Kalle Paulsen, and Jakub Koltsov. These guys are studs. Hopefully it continues. Kalle Paulsen has won us lots of hardware for that trophy case. If you do remember, the 3-time Hart, Lindsay, and Art Ross, and the 1-time Maurice Rocket Richard trophy. Or yeah, only two, what's it called, the Art Ross is there. So hopefully he can get some more hardware to that. He is medium franchise as well as Ricky Combs, so that is very cool to see. Koltsov still at an elite. And then we have one of our undrafted boys, Vez St. Louis, who we picked up in free agency. We have him locked up for a long time at a very good rate, so we are happy with that. And then one of our other undrafted players on the team, Sam Colangelo. I just like his stats all the way around for a fourth-line guy. Can play some center as well. Do have our first-round draft pick in Keith Jackman. They're playing center right now. We'll see how he does. We do have some guys in the AHL that we could substitute out for him, specifically Marcel Charpentier. If that's how you say it, I'm just going to toss a lot on it. He looks pretty solid. I just rather would have him as a third-line guy, but he didn't play too well last year, so we're going to give him some more time in the AHL because he's still listed as a depth guy, as well as Victor Zarkov, who is a late first-round pick of ours. He has some very good stats as well, but he didn't play very well in the AHL last season, so I kind of want to give him another year because he's still listed as a depth player as well. Obviously, our defense is elite. So we have Halverson now, who has grown to an 86 overall, still only 21 years of age. Everybody besides Bachfist is very young. Skylar Reed, 21, Albert Henry, 21, and Quentin Bruce, 22. Harley and Bachfist are just studs. 96 overall for Harley there. I mean, look at those stats. 98s, 99s all across the board. Absolutely insane. Did the 5v5 focus for this year, so it sacrificed the speed for the awareness. We'll see how that works out. I've been testing out the different ones. It kind of sucks now because all of them have some pretty significant negatives. So if you guys have found one that you like a lot, let me know in the comments below. But it seems like it might just be at the point where it's worth to maybe just skip doing that preseason focus altogether at this point. In terms of goalies, I almost forgot to show Jadon Faith is now going to be our new #1 goaltender. We let go of Carter George. Just wanted too much money, and having Faith and him at like $8 to $9 million a year, both of them just didn't make any sense. So we signed a just Thomas Sochnik, however you say it there. He looks like a solid backup goalie. He's not going to play a ton of games, we hope, because Jadon Faith is one of the top goalies in the league at 86 overall, because we know goalies just do not develop. In terms of scratched players, Jackson Jacobson, who unfortunately just never really developed how we wanted him to. He's a center playmaker, center left wing playmaker with 63 faceoffs, so very disappointing. Not a terrible shot, but the physical's not good enough. He just, like I say, he just hasn't developed. The defensive awareness, offensive awareness, just never really been there for him, so he's probably going to get moved on from at some point this year, as well as probably Harold Galvin, who's played well for us into the defensive defenseman role. But we have lots of guys. I mean, you already saw the top 6 that we have, and we have guys in the AHL who I want to get a chance to at some point, but we'll see if that ever happens. So we'll probably move on for him for draft picks. But let me get into the season. I'll bring you back in at the trade deadline. Hopefully it's with some good news. Hopefully Kalle Paulsen has like 80 goals or something by that point. Let's see what we're able to get done this year, boys. All right, guys, as expected, the season has been an easy one. 41, 18, and 3. However, we have been bouncing around quite a bit in our Atlantic division. If you look at the top 4 teams in the Atlantic, they would be the #1 team in the Metro. And anytime we've come up against a Metro team, we have absolutely wiped the floor with them. Things did get a little spicy there before the trade deadline, but the month before and the month of the trade deadline, we dominated. So no worries there. 8-2 in our last 10. I'm not going to make any more changes just because I started this with morale on. So I don't want to trade any of our young guys away that we have called up to test out, just because I don't want to ruin the morale of this team. Kind of sucks. Wish I would have turned that off originally. But let's take a look at the lines. You might notice one change in the forward group. Zarkov did get called up. Jackman, we did bench him just because just wasn't playing too well. Zarkov's been in the AHL for about 2 years now, so I wanted to give him a chance in the NHL. 21 games played, only 2 goals, but only playing 10 minutes a night, so we'll see. Only a -1 too, though, so not terrible. I think Jackman was like a -8 or a -9 before we pulled him out. Ricky Combs having himself a phenomenal season as expected, almost an assist per game. Callie Palson as well, tearing it up. 45 goals in 62 games right now. We'll see what he's able to get up to. And then our boy Jakub Koltsov, who has been a very nice surprise. 2nd-round pick there for us, who has been dominant so far throughout his career. He is a beast. That first line is one to be terrified of. Sergei Tikhonov, our young sniper, former 1st-round pick, late 1st-round pick, up to an 88 overall. 19 goals, 38 assists for him. Yevgeny St. Louis having a good season for him there, playing that 2nd power play, really manning that and taking it down well. 1936. Stu Scrimes. This guy, I don't know, he came out of nowhere. 3rd-round pick, 71st overall, has just been a goal-scoring machine. When you have the top top line that we have that absolutely scores out their ass, then you have Stu Scrimes and St. Louis to have on the 2nd power play and the 2nd line. It is very nice to see 37 goals for him. He is a beast. Don Reitz, if you remember, he was a defenseman who we transitioned. He's still a player type 2-way defender, so I need to go through at some point and try to change that, but he's playing decent, I guess, on that 3rd line. We're pretty much like the Edmonton Oilers right now, with just one really good line, a pretty good 2nd line, and then a top 4 defensive pairing that is stacked. We already saw Zarkov there. Kagradov, 8 and 18. Raffle, 3 and 4, but he is a +3, so I will take that. We just need him to be a 4th liner. That's really all we need from his role right now. Rene Gaudreau playing decent, but not well enough to get that 2nd line. I don't like his face-offs a ton. And then that skating as well, like I said, leaves a bit to be desired. Sam Colangelo, -8, 7 and 7. Not playing a ton of minutes tonight, though, so not a big deal. Thomas Harley, our Lord and Savior, 8 goals, 60 assists. We love to see that. Maybe he will be able to bring in our team's first Norris trophy. Hopefully, I'm sure Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes is having a massive season over in the West, though. Halverson not playing too bad. Albert Henry, 5 and 15. Bachfist, 1 goal, 40 assists. What a beast. 2 franchise defensemen. You'd think we'd be cruising, and 2 franchise forwards. However, it has not been smooth sailing once we get to the playoffs. Rick Rabbit got the call up just because I wanted to give him a chance. He is 24 years of age, former 1st-round pick, first time in the NHL, and he is playing decent enough, I guess. 2 and 4, +8. The other guys that I had in here when I had Quentin Bruce and I think Albert Henry were on the 4th pairing, or 3rd pairing, I should say. They were a minus, so for him to be a +8, it's just what I'm looking for right now. Harold Galvin found his way in the lineup as well, +8 for him as well. Nice little offensive-defensive pairing. Pretty offensive defensive pairing on every line. In terms of goaltending, our boy Jadon Faith, not bad. 917 save percentage, 245 goals against. I will take that any day of the week. 3 shutouts. And our backup goalie, I mean, surprised that he's played 18 games up to this point. Not playing too great, but that's kind of what we just signed up for with having him and getting rid of our other guy. Harry Woodworth, still probably a little bit too young to call up 78 overall. He's still listed as a minor starting goalie, so maybe next year, probably next year, honestly, he will be our NHL backup goaltender. He's having a very good season down in the AHL. And then Casey Brennan, one of our other goaltenders. When did we draft him? 4th round back in 2028, so a long time ago. 3 shutouts for him, 10 wins in 17 games played. Not going to complain there. I don't think really anybody has been tearing it up like crazy. Charpentier, not bad. I like to see that. Maybe we can get him into that 3rd line role at some point before the end of the season. Timo Vataloloma, not one of our draft picks, unfortunately, but maybe somebody we could could put up to replace Colangelo, although I don't think he has been playing bad, but 6'5", 242. Now I remember why I picked this guy up. I love that size, so maybe it wouldn't be bad to have him. He is listed, he's minor checking forward, so maybe not. Peter Pakashlati, we love to see that name. I would like to have him in the NHL at some point. He's 23 years of age, but the defense and the offensive awareness and his physical just really put me away from wanting to call him up. Obergauer, not bad season. Fata. So we have guys in the AHL who are performing. It's just finding that space for them, but really nobody in the NHL in our bottom 6 has really cemented themselves just yet. But we do have tons of prospects if salary cap issues become a concern. Rocky Strong, our other guy that I really want to get to the NHL, but his skating is horrible. So we'll see if that ever happens. He's 24 years of age right now. Volchenkov not playing bad. Sterling Sue playing well as well. 6th round pick there, 74 overall, low elite, 22 years of age, so hopefully he can develop in time. But yeah, great season right now for our AHL squad. Let's take a look where they stand in the standings, and then we'll get to the end of the year and see if we make the playoffs. Are we... Where are they at? Is it just not? Oh, they're okay. They're number 1, 96 points. Holy shit. So they're number 1 in the AHL. We love to see that. So both teams seeing lots of success. Let's get to the end of the season. We'll take a look at the overview of the lines or of the stats for our guys at the end of the year, and then check around the league and see what other guys did. So let's get to the end of the year. Let's see if we can finish strong. Maybe challenge for a President's Trophy. We're close. We're right behind the Panthers there, but they do have a nice lead on us. So let's see what we can end up with. All right, and a strong finish to the season we did have, winning 19 straight games, losing right at the trade deadline. I guess the team had some fears that we were going to maybe move on from some players who were being scratched, but that was not the case. And then take a look at the dominant stretch we went on, beating Florida, beating Toronto, beating Boston, teams all in our division who finished with massive point totals. I don't know if I've seen a division this dominant so far going through NHL 25, but we did squeak it out, winning 19 straight. We barely squeak out winning the President's Trophy in our division. You can see some of the top teams, I think 3 of the top teams in the NHL, tied with the Blackhawks there, all in the Atlantic. So it is going to be a slog trying to get through our division. Thankfully, we will get the Washington Capitals in the first round, so shouldn't be too big of a test for our roster. 60, 19, and 3. Take a look at the month after that too, facing the Washington Capitals, and we say, hey, get ready to look forward to us. 11-3. We're gonna hang on your fucking dome. So let's go, boys. Strong start, or strong finish to the season. Hopefully we can hold out and become Stanley Cup champions like we so wish. Oh, wrong stick click there. Let's go ahead and take a look. Jakub Koltsov actually leading the team, 130 points, taking over from Kalle Palsson, but still 62 goals for Palsson there, 57 for Koltsov. So what a season for him. That first line, like I said, absolutely dominant. And then don't look too far past that, because Stu Scrimes on our second line, almost 60 goals for him as well. So an absolute tear of a season, plus 75s and a 76 for our top boys there. We love to see that. Thomas Harley with a plus 62, 10 goals, 75 assists. Probably not even close to what Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes put up there. St. Louis looking very good on that second pairing as well. Tikhonov with 76 points. We love to see that. Bachfist, a very good season. Halvardson, oh no, it's Kagradov. I was going to say Halvardson was a minus. No, but he was a plus 63. So we love to see that as well. Let me see. Any depth scoring we got from these guys? Gaudreau, 14-9. Not bad. He probably played minimal minutes. Let's just take a quick look. I mean, these menus are slow as shit right now. I don't know if it's because I haven't restarted my game in a while, or if this is just how NHL is. Haven't been playing a ton of NHL recently, so hopefully getting back on the train there. And you can see we had some scratched guys who played some minutes. Reed, Rick Rabbit had a good finish to the season, 10 points for him and a +4. Galvin as well, +9. We like to see that. 16 penalty minutes, 45 shots on net, so a decent season. Jackman with his first NHL debut, 41 games. I mean, hopefully it doesn't stunt any of his development. He played a decent little bit, only playing 8 minutes a game. Never mind, maybe not. But I think we are poised for a nice playoff run. Fingers crossed. We have seen this story before with this team, so hopefully the playoffs are where we will shine the most. Barkov with 136 points there, barely edging out Koltsov for the Art Ross. Let's see, goals. Oh my God, Matthews, everybody. Matthews, Kaprizov, and Bedard lead for the Rocket Richard, so we'll see who ends up coming away with the Lindsay, and the Hart for that. So we'll see any trophies for our guys. Let's take a look at goaltending. Actually, we got to see defense. Jumping around a little bit here. Come on, Harley. Quinn Hughes again. So Cale Makar looks like he's fallen off, quote unquote, from what his dominant season is. If you haven't remembered that, 5 Stanley Cups, 3 Conn Smythes, 10 James Norris trophies to go along with his 2 Lady Bings and his Calder. So Hall of Fame is awaiting him. Quinn Hughes, let's take a look at what he's done. So 2 Stanley Cups, obviously beating us last year. And 1 James Norris, add a second one on top of that. So Hall of Fame probably for him as well. Sorry, Harley and Bachfist. Just not the generation for you, I guess. Let's take a look at goaltending now and see where our boy Jaden Faith ended up. Looks like second, so probably no Vezina, maybe a Vezina trophy for him. He had better save percentage and better goals against, so we'll see how much 3 wins changes that. So we'll see. We'll wait on that one though. Looks like in terms of shot attempts and shots, he did not face nearly as much as the next guy. Goals against, only 144 goals allowed in 62 games. Those are solid numbers right there. Let's go take a look at our backup goalie and see how he did, but definitely another dominant season for the boys. The drafted team is coming along very nicely. Like I said, we have a couple non-drafted players in it, but I think overall it's pretty much what we hoped it would be. 15 wins out of 25 games for Sochnik there. No shutouts, a little bit pedestrian stats, but we're not going to need him come playoff time. Come playoff time is who we need is Jaden Faith. So hopefully, how many shots did he face as well? 655. Okay, so a decent season for the boys. I'm not going to complain. This is what the lines are going to look like heading into that first year in playoffs. I think it's a good enough roster, of course, to win the Stanley Cup. When you have a dominant first line like that, you just need them to show up. And then we need our 96s, well, 97 now, defensemen to show up in the playoffs. So we'll see if we're able to get that done, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was another successful season for the boys. That's the end of this one. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Let's go, boys. 2025, big year. Peace.